Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you again with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be doing an updated hero list. Now when it comes to this specific hero list, I basically had one thing in mind when building it, and that's the new Master Hero support. Now while we don't know when we're going to be receiving it, I can't imagine it would take too long to get them, hopefully by like the end of the year, but even so, I've basically already started transitioning the list to how I would more than likely want to play it when the new cards come out, as well as taking into account the new top tier meta decks in the form of cards like Yummy and the K9 decks, right? So the ratios might seem a little bit weird, but it's basically because, like I said, I have the entire new Master Hero engine in mind when building this. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. As always, we're starting off with the monster lineup first, and the first card we're going to be talking about is, of course, Elemental Hero Stratos, who, on normal or special summon, is either able to destroy spells and traps on the field equal to the number of other face-up hero monsters, or, more importantly, is able to search your deck for any hero monster, including itself. So this card just basically gets the entire engine rolling, but the main reason why I don't play it at 3 is because I feel like there are just better normal summons in the deck in general compared to Elemental Hero Stratos, more specifically Vision Hero Vyon, who, if I had to choose between normal summoning either Stratos or Vyon, I'd choose Vyon every day, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's still perfectly fine at 2. Then for the other Elemental Hero monsters, we're playing one Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, who is either capable of searching Mass Change on special summon, or if it's sent to the graveyard, can search out any hero monster. Or playing one Elemental Hero Neos to be able to access our Flame Wingman fusions. And then lastly, we're playing the one Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, who admittedly doesn't really see much play nowadays, but I still think it's pretty useful just because it's able to turn cards like Fusion Destiny into 1-card Dark Claw plays, as well as draw 2 cards and discard one whenever it's used for fusion material. Now that's it for the Elemental Hero monsters, and then for the Destiny Hero monsters, we're playing 3 Destiny Hero Malicious, 1 Destiny Hero Denier to basically make Malicious recycle itself, as well as kind of like a 4th copy, so in a sense it basically turns into 5 copies of Malicious. 1 Destiny Hero Plasma, just because it's a one-sided skill drain that even if your opponent has like a Nibiru, it's perfectly fine in most situations, I think, just because you typically have like a lot of cards to just back it up or continue to disrupt your opponent during their turn. So, one card or one-sided skill drains in a body backed by cards like DPE is a pretty difficult card to out in most situations. That's it for the Destiny Hero monsters. Then for the Vision Heroes, we're playing 2 Vision Hero Vyon. Then for the other 2 being Faris and Increase, we're playing only 1 Vision Hero Faris and 1 Vision Hero Increase. So the Vision Heroes are obviously really good, right? And they allow us to extend further than we normally would be. But with the way that the new support has come out recently with the Evil Hero cards and the soon-to-be Master Hero cards, we actually don't even really need to rely on them all that much to resolve in order to actually play the game, right? And this just further reinforces my statement earlier where I said I would much rather normal summon a Vision Hero Vyon than I would an Elemental Hero Stratos, just because it's a Foolish that searches out Poly, which is pretty solid. But we still need to play at least 1 when the new cards come out, just because obviously it still just allows us to extend a little bit further, right? As we are able to discard cards, summon it, provide ourselves with fodder for cards like Destiny Hero Plasma, potentially summon out a Vyon from the Xtra deck, like you name it. And I'm not going to eliminate them entirely, but I just don't think the importance is as impactful as they once used to be, I guess. But I still include them in the list like this. And then for the Evil Hero lineup, we're playing the 1 Adusted Gold, the 1 Dead End Prison, and the 1 Vicious Claws. So when it comes to the Vision Hero package, I actually only have 1 goal and 1 goal only, and that's basically just to summon out the Dead End Prison because it basically turns into a Foolish Burial. And that's literally it. I don't care about Adusted Gold all that much because this is literally only searching out Evil Assault in this deck. We don't need to rely on Dark Supremacy. We don't play Dark Contact. We don't do anything like that. It literally just gets your Evil Assault to be able to extend further, and that's it. And then Evil Hero Vicious Claws is like another extender too, right? But because all it does is when you have like a face-up hero monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. But it also has like a really cool additional interaction that you normally wouldn't get in a deck like this, where if your opponent decides to destroy one of your cards, like you can bring it back and then just have like another body and just continuously disrupt your opponent, right? So it's pretty cool. It's an extender. It's another card that just gives you another life that this deck just, I don't want to say desperately needs, but it is something that it's lacking. So yeah, 1 Vicious Claw is perfectly fine. And with that, that's the monster lineup. And now we can finally move on to the Spell and Trap lineup. Now that we're on the Spell and Trap portion of the video, the first card we're going to be talking about is, of course, A Hero Lives, who we are going to play at 3. And what can I say? This is basically the best starter in the deck, right? You pay half your life points, which just doesn't matter when it comes to heroes nowadays. And then you're able to special summon any level 4 or lower elemental hero monster. So you get Stratos, Shadow Mist, or Liquid Soldier, depending on whatever situation you may be facing. Then to accompany our 3 A Hero Lives, we're playing 3 Fusion Destiny, which allows us to basically pump out a Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer whenever we want, as well as have the potential for the 1-card Dark Claw play that I mentioned earlier, right? Now, the only downside to Fusion Destiny is that it does lock you into Dark Hero monsters for the rest of this turn, so if you can, just hold off on activating this one as often as possible, especially since the modern hero deck just plays so many different attributes that you will be limiting yourself severely if you just start by shotgunning Fusion Destiny. Then, for the other 3 ofs, we're playing 3 Foribidden Droplet and 3 Book of Eclipse. Now, you may have noticed I don't play any hand traps, and the reason for that is because I opted for the board breaker approach, and 3 Book of Eclipse and 3 Forbidden Droplet are pretty much like the go-to cards that allow us to break through the K9 deck boards and the Yummy boards as consistently as possible, right? And those decks are just generally resistant to hand traps, which means that I can feel justified playing these over cards that are hand traps instead, especially since I've never been a fan of playing hand traps in heroes to begin with, just because I feel like they just don't mesh well at all. But I guess you could say I'm a really big fan of whenever the game shifts to like a more board breaker approach, because it means that decks like this can be able to thrive just a little bit more consistently. But I know that's just my opinion and not everyone agrees, but it is what it is, right? I feel that way, so it must be true, obviously. That's it for the 3 ofs though. Then for the 2 ofs, we're playing 2 Evil Assault to be able to cheat out a Destiny Hero Dead End Prison from our deck. 2 Polymerization, which is something that I tend to play whenever Droll and Lockbird sees a lot of play. Now, I don't know if it's going to be that great going forward, just because, like I said earlier, Yummy and K9 are fairly resistant to hand traps, and while Droll does impact them a little, it doesn't really do enough to warrant them to stop playing or whatever. So as a result, 2 poly is still perfectly fine, and then this is also just pretty important for ensuring that we can continue to extend when cards like our Vision Hero Vyon do get stopped, as it tends to be like one of the main targets that people will save like their Ashes, Veilers, or Imperms for, right? And yeah, you know, it also just allows you to be a little bit more flexible with your plays as well. So 2 poly is perfectly fine. Then we're playing 2 mass change as well, because we do have the masked heroes in mind. But even so, Darklaw is still a phenomenal card currently, so being able to get in access to it just a little bit more consistently by playing 2 is great. We don't play 3 because then you tend to like brick on it. It's better suited for the side deck for when you can guarantee that you're going first. But 2 is basically the perfect ratio for like games 1 anyways. So yeah, 2 mass change. And then for the 1-ofs, we're playing 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Call by the Grave. We're playing 1 Foolish Burial, but we are not going to be playing Reinforcement of the Army or E-Emergency Call. And that's because Foolish Burial does everything that those cards would do, but better, just because 1, it allows us to play through Droll, right? Because it's sent from deck to grave, it doesn't add anything. And 2, this one will give us instant access to cards like Destiny Hero Denier, Destiny Hero Malicious, Evil Hero Viscious Clause, and Elemental Hero Shadow Mist Graveyard Effect, which you just don't get if you add them off of E-Call or Rhoda. And they essentially become the exact same thing, right? Especially when you're sending Shadow Mist to the graveyard, because that just searches a hero monster. And it's a lot less limiting in a sense. But yeah, 1 Foolish Burial, perfectly fine. And then lastly, we're topping it off with 1 Miracle Fusion, just to be able to summon out another Elemental Hero Fusion monster from the extra deck using cards in our graveyard. That's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we're just playing the 1 Favorite Contact, which is what you're going to be searching off of your Flame Wingman in order to be able to fusion summon Shiny Neos Wingman during the opponent's turn, or potentially some other cards. I don't know. It's usually going to be made for Shiny Neos Wingman, though. Maybe Contrast Hero Chaos once the Master Hero stuff comes out, but like I said, we're waiting. That's it for the Spell and Trap lineup. It should be 40 cards like always, and now we can finally move on to the extra deck. When it comes to the extra deck, we're only playing 2 types of monsters, being the Link monsters for the hero deck and the Fusion monsters for the hero deck. So as a result, we're going to be starting off with the Links first, just because they take up a smaller portion of the list. And as a result, we're playing the 1 Extra Hero Wonder Driver to be able to reset our Fusion spells, the 1 Extra Hero Infernal Devicer to be able to search out Elemental Hero Neos, and then 2 Extra Hero Cross Crusader, which is capable of reborning your Destiny Hero monsters, as well as tributing Destiny Hero monsters to search out any hero monster from your deck. That's it for the Links though. And then for the Fusions, the first card we're going to be talking about is not a hero monster. Instead, it's Guardian Chimera, which is basically a card that you never see in lists like this, just because we have so many limitations in the form of Cross Crusader and Vision Hero Faris, right? But when it comes to Faris and cards like Fusion Destiny, those cards restrict you after you use them, not before. The only one that is a full-on restriction is Cross Crusader, so if we summon this, we can never use this in the same turn, but that's perfectly fine. And this is just like a cute little tech that I like to include in hero lists whenever I play more than one Polymerization, because one, it catches a lot of people off guard, and two, it's still a phenomenal way of just helping us break our opponent's boards, especially because they can't target this because we're always going to be summoning it with Polymerization, and you know, being able to potentially draw 2, destroy 1, or destroy 2, draw 1 is pretty funny in all like senses of the word, right? Because they just never see it coming, and whenever it drops down, like your opponent just always has like a look of panic on their face. But yeah, Guardian Chimera, I just enjoy tossing it in whenever I play more than one copy of Poly. Then for the actual hero fusions, we're playing one Destiny Hero Dangerous for the 1-card Dark Law play, Destiny Hero Dystopia for the potential time play, and Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer because it's just a good card that pops once per turn during either player's turn. That's it for the D heroes. And then for the elemental heroes, we're playing the 1 Flame Wingman Infernal Rage to be able to search out our favorite contact. And then, because we're typically going to be using Neos as fusion material, we contribute it in order to cheat out Elemental Hero Sunrise, who, on special summon, not fusion summon, is able to search out Miracle Fusion. So, you know, just that cute little play just allows us to continuously thin our deck even further and just get access to key cards that we'll be able to use as follow-up on our opponent's turn. And then as for Elemental Hero Sunrise, in addition to being able to search out Miracle Fusion, it boosts all of your monsters by 200 attack for every different attribute you control. And if another hero monster battles, so that means if it attacks or is attacked, this card is able to destroy a card on the field. So just another form of interaction with the opponent. We're still going to be playing one Elemental Hero Escuridao. I've made my intentions clear. As long as I play Fusion Destiny and the potential for being locked into Dark Heroes is possible, I will be playing Escuridao just to be able to OTK my opponents even though I've activated Fusion Destiny, right? Then we're playing one Elemental Hero Shiny Neos Wingman, which is what you're going to be summoning off of your favorite contact most of the time. One Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, which is basically pretty similar to Shiny Neos Wingman in the shape that it's able to attack, destroy monsters, and then burn them. But truth be told, we don't really make this guy all that often. At least I don't. But it's still just like an important card to have just in case. And then lastly, we have the 2 Masked Hero Dark Claws to be able to take advantage of our 2 mask changes. And with that, that's the hero list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!